Hi everyone, Freddy here, and for today's video, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite cartoons of all time, Samurai Jack. Actually, not really of all time. To be honest, I only got into it with season 5 because back when it aired when I was a little kid, I felt like it was a bit graphic. Although the episode Jack and the Rig did kind of resonate with me, hence why I kind of dress the way I do now. Besides that one episode, I didn't really watch Samurai Jack that much growing up. Mostly also because I had an older sister who would make me watch Sailor Moon instead. Thank you for that. So I want to talk specifically about Samurai Jack's ending. So turn away from this video if you don't want no spoilers, otherwise come here my children, we shall talk. In that last scene of Samurai Jack, what basically happens is Jack and Ashi travel back in time after Ashi gains Aku's powers. From there they kill Aku, save the world, and then Jack and Ashi end up getting married. And then because they killed Aku, the whole time paradox thing meant that Ashi can't exist because Aku didn't exist. So Ashi basically dies, or disappears, or doesn't exist, which leaves Jack very devastated. The flashes forward after that to a scene with Jack riding on a horse into a dark forest, and there we can already see some pretty interesting reminders. The silhouette of Jack on the horse, it's very reminiscent of the omen that has been plaguing Jack for the first half of season 5. And it does make a lot of the viewers, myself included, feel as if he's gonna go into the forest to commit seppuku. So it starts out with this very ominous and mourning feeling, which is very understandable given the current circumstances. Normally Jack has a top knot called the chonmage, which is like the little samurai top knot that he has, but in this case his hair is down. And normally what the chonmage symbolizes in Japanese culture is having it means that you have a status of power or a status as a samurai. So when a samurai typically retires, they'd snip it off. However, most people in Japan, around that time that Jack existed from, if they weren't of certain status or certain power, they just wear their hair down and it would be naturally long. So in that sense, I'd say that Jack not necessarily snipping off the chonmage, but also wearing his hair down, it symbolizes him not necessarily knowing what to do with his life. He spent so much of it fighting Aku, trying to save the world, getting back to the past, falling in love with Ashi, that he doesn't know what's left to do with his life. So he's just left as this wandering, not even samurai at this point, just a wandering person. So he naturally feels like an empty, wandering soul. If you notice something else that I found very interesting, it's that the forest that Jack is wandering through, it looks very similar to the forest that Jack first killed 5 of the 7 daughters of Aku in, because it's got that sort of white and black contrast going on, the foggy background. That's just something I've noticed, but I don't necessarily think that there's much real symbolism behind that, I guess, other than the fact that that was Jack's first one-on-one encounter with Ashi. I guess in a way that sort of foreshadows the events that would come very soon after. So Jack sits down on the tree, feels very, very sad and alone, and then suddenly a ladybug flies down and it lands on him. Jack and Ashi end up on an island together full of ladybugs, and seeing the ladybugs remind Ashi about the meaning of life, and it sort of spurs a change of heart in her. So within the context of Samurai Jack, I'd say ladybugs, they sort of symbolize valuation as well as open-mindedness, because that's sort of what happened with Ashi's. It broadened her perspective. And a quick Google search can tell you that ladybugs not only symbolize open-mindedness, but they also symbolize good luck, fortune, prosperity, joy, and fortune. Now, if you look at Ashi's name, in Sanskrit, translates to fortune or blessing. So already you can see a sort of correlation between Ashi's name and the symbolic meaning of the ladybug. And in a lot of ways you can say that the ladybug symbolizes Ashi in both similar color schemes as well as similar meanings. The ladybug also reminds Jack of Ashi, and in a way it just makes him lighten up. It makes him realize there's no point in being sad. He accomplished what he set out to do. So he gets up with a smile on his face, and then you can see that the tree that he was sitting under, it wasn't some dead, gloomy tree, which in a way could have symbolized or foreshadowed or been a nod to Aku, but instead it was a sakura tree. The tree on its own, at first, it reminds me of the scene in episode 5 when Jack was showing Ashi around the world, and then they stumble upon a ton of dead trees, and then one tree that still has its flowers intact, and how Jack told her that this tree, it's a symbol of Aku's power and Aku's devastation. Whereas this tree at first, you feel a similar sense of despair because that scene from episode 5 resonates with this current image. But then from there, the clouds and the fog, it all parts, and it reveals that the entirety of Jack's homeland is covered in sakura trees. Now, an article on Huffington Post by Chef Homaru Kantu, well, the late Homaru Kantu, will tell us that Sakura symbolized the precariousness and precious value of life, and how it's constantly fleeting. And I feel like that, assuming that the trees are indeed sakura blossoms, I'm mostly assuming it just because out of all Japanese blossoms, we probably hear the most about sakura blossoms followed by like peach blossoms. So it'd be one or the other, but I feel like sakura would make the most sense. The lone tree in episode 5, in a lot of ways, it represents the powerlessness and the isolation that Jack had felt over those 50 years when he lost his sword. And I think that comparison, it really does strike a chord with me. The moment when we see the clouds parting and the end of that scene when Jack stands up with the ladybug, and he's not alone anymore. He has an entire world that loves him and is thankful to him. He's a hero. And I feel like in a lot of ways, that is a very, very beautiful way to end season 5, and I want to know what happens to Jack after this. And I do want to know, what happens, like, what's the future like? What happens to the Scotsman in the future without Aku? What happens to, like, everyone else? Those are things that I wish that we could have had, like, at least even a small glimpse of. But overall, I'd still say that it was a very solid way to end the series. Well, end the season. The series, I feel like we just wanted to see more closure in general, but it was still like a very solid way to end the series overall. What's your thoughts on season 5 of Samurai Jack? Did you like it? Did you wish that it didn't have to end like how I did, because now I have nothing to do on my Saturday nights? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!